Welcome back to this ELMCREEK adventure on Farming Simulator 22 for episode 2 with me, MrSealyp. It's early. It's December the 2nd. Hello everyone. Have you all done your advent calendar today? That was something I was going to talk about actually yesterday. I forgot to mention it. Look at that, glorious. There's a lot to talk about, and I've been giving it a lot of thought about what I'm doing. And thank you for everyone for the comments and stuff on the first episode. And not everyone likes it, but like I've always said, can't please everyone. The thing is, doing it the way I'm doing it, a lot of people have said, well, I said about building the farm up and I want to get loads of big machinery and I want to, have my own fields. Doing it over the month, that's not going to happen because this is daily. If I was doing 1 day months, I could get through the months much quicker. So each episode could be a month, but obviously each episode is a day because I'm doing the Advent thing. So this is more of a kind of vlog, I suppose, like a vlog type thing, a day in the life of a worker on a farm kind of thing, I suppose. I do still want to make money, I do still want to get equipment, I do still want to get my own plot of land and start doing things. When we hit the 25th, I may well change the actual setting so then we can build up from there. I don't know how many episodes I'll do on here. I might do 40, in which case the first 25 will be the Advent bit and then we'll kind of go from there. The other thing was, people said, why don't you ask Angie and Chris if you can sleep up in the top of the barn, because there's a hammock up there. It's a bit more open and breezy. I don't know where we stand locally with regard to tornadoes. I'm English, you see. I don't really, the whole kind of tornado alley type thing, that really bothers me. I'd rather be in a kind of underground, in a basement, I think. What was the other thing I was going to talk about? Oh yeah, yesterday. Blimey, you've probably just seen the clip. I wanted to show it because it was that kind of thing. At the end of the episode, I was like, we're going to do this potato harvest with this fancy new bit of equipment, and then didn't show it, really. But there was a problem. I'm going to head off to the store because we need more contract work. I'm going to pick up some more work. It's not my own equipment. I'm going to do jobs here and there. So while we're walking, I'll do some talking. Yes, there is definitely a problem. There are several problems I'm finding locally. Let's go with locally. In that, I don't know if anyone noticed. Maybe somebody did. I've been through some of the comments, but obviously that was kind of early on after the episode released. But obviously I had to sleep and stuff like that. But the trailer they gave me didn't take potatoes, which is rather unfortunate considering I was doing a potato harvest. So getting a truck and trailer combo that doesn't actually take potatoes was something of an issue, to say the least. Luckily, because we can now do multiple contracts, I took on a second contract, and that was for doing canola harvest. Now the canola harvest didn't have a big trailer, it had a smaller trailer, so I was doing a lot of backwards and forwards. So what I thought I would do was hire a worker, and ended up having to try hire 2 workers, one for the harvester, one for the the potato harvester, and all I was doing was hauling. By the time I'd hauled one load, the other one was full. I'd haul that load, the other one was full, and I'd bounce backwards and forwards. I ran into another problem. The economy must be very strong locally because the hired workers, I don't know if anyone else has noticed this wherever they're farming, it's extortionate. Now, I know worker fees have always been there, and that's what I've always said. Doing contract work, bits on the side, things like that, and if you do the job yourself, what you get paid, I kind of always allocated towards hiring workers, that kind of thing. It was an extortionate amount of money to the point where I got down to zero. So the money I made yesterday doing that cultivating job, I spent on worker fees because I was trying to haul backwards and forwards and do 2 contracts at the same time. And even if I'd done 1 contract at the same time, if I wanted the harvester to be running while I was going off and hauling, I just couldn't do both. I got down to zero. I had no money left. So I'm not going to lie, I did go off and find a couple of the toys that were knocking around because I needed the money, which was great, until I got to zero again. So I ended up finishing off both contracts myself with no workers. It took a bit longer. But you can also tell I've got time set on ×3. I think that'll get through the day more sensibly with the jobs we're going to be doing, probably. But the problem then was both contracts required selling at Goldcrest Valley, which meant hiring a train, which I couldn't do because I had no money. So yeah, yesterday was a great day. It was brilliant. It was a tricky start. Let's just say that. It was a tricky start. I'm not sure how we're going to go from there. But once I'd then found another toy, I know I didn't want to do it, but I could have borrowed from the bank, I guess. Yeah, maybe I should have done that, but I didn't. And that's what we got paid. So minus the fees for leasing equipment for both contracts, we're at 36,881, which is great. But that will disappear if we hire any workers. So I'm not too sure what to do really with regard to that. I'm assuming there's going to be more cultivating work. I want to get some fertilizing jobs because the fertilizing jobs are what pay. It's like gold. So anyway, as I was saying about the no harvesting jobs, I've got to be so careful of. There's only going to be so many, then it will roll into something else. What? That's wheat. That's no good. Corn. Somebody's also told me corn's not working. Oats aren't either, because that's a grain one. Wheat. I've got another canola, but it doesn't pay very much. Should I do a ploughing one? Should we take on a ploughing job just so I can get, try? Oh, there's some sowing jobs there as well. Oh, we'll do a ploughing job first. We'll grab a plough. They're all fairly small, and I would imagine the fields are going to be fairly big. So there might be a little bit of skipping. I said I was going to try and do one sort of job. Which one should I do? What bit of equipment do I want to use? Oh, I'll go for one of these. Doesn't matter. The one that pays the most, I guess. I'm going to have a look at this. Look, it's field 43. I'm going to borrow items, not accept contract, because I've done that before. I'm not going to get paid, a huge amount, but I can't remember what it said I was going to lose now for borrowing equipment. It doesn't matter. It's money in the bank, I guess. So, anyway. What was I saying? Yes, so the thing is that because things have changed a lot, and it's that thing. Let's get some lights on. The big difference, one of the big differences, I think, between seasons on FS19 and seasons on FS22, whilst you can turn seasonal growth off, so you don't have to stick to the harvest, the sow and harvest cycle. You can sow whenever you want and harvest whenever you want. When I say whenever you want, what I meant by that was when the crops are ready, obviously, it just allows you a bit more flexibility. The crops on 22 take way longer to grow because as well we've lost that. We can't have the growth cycle set on off, slow, normal or fast. Now I know obviously with seasons on FS19 you still had to run through a season, but I don't remember it taking as long. So when we've got all these different crops now that all take different amounts of time, even though I can maybe I'll do some of the sowing jobs. I'll grab a sowing job. I started talking, didn't I? Field 43. I'll take on sowing jobs, of course I will. but they're not going to be ready for me to harvest any time yet. But there are fields that are ready to harvest, so I will still get to do a few of the different jobs, and that's kind of what I wanted to do, was each day try and pick up a different job. Am I going to duplicate jobs? Probably, but as I build a bit more money, I'm going to speak to Chris and Angie actually, because what I was going to do, I was looking at maybe buying this field here. It's 56 grand, which I don't have yet, as my own plot, because I didn't want that kind of, I've got no money, I've arrived. It'd be a bit rude to say to Angie, well, I suppose it's not a working farm. Could I use a bit of your land? I suppose they could charge me rent or something, maybe. I don't know. Let's put that into its transport position. I'm sure that wheel's supposed to be facing the ground. Anywho, so I was looking for field 43. Is that one? There we go. The one that's flashing. There we go. If you're not sure, it's the one that's flashing. So yeah, we're not going to kind of get through, and I think that's going to be a big difference on Let's Plays generally now, because it's not like when we were told you can turn seasons off. That's not strictly true. So the face of Let's Plays will change dramatically. I don't think we have as much choice now as we did, because you could have it, and I know it wasn't realistic, that you could plant a crop, and if you had growth on fast, by the following day, at some point during that day, if not the day after, the crop was done. I know that's not realistic. And if you're set on 1 day months, so if you've got each month is set as a day, it's still going to take longer than that anyway. So I don't know, it's a tricky one, isn't it? I mean, I'm still, like I say, I'm just very much of the opinion that I'm still enjoying the playing, I love the graphics and the detail and I'm going to keep saying it, and the sound effects, and I'm kind of getting the feeling people are still saying, oh, I'm bored of it already. I don't understand how you can be bored of it already. Yes, there are problems, I've said that as well. Where are we? What should open up? Let's get the GPS open. Things like this, it's just never stop looking, Don't take things for granted. Don't just go through the motions of playing the game and I need to make as much money as quick as I can, and that, we've all done it, we've all been there, I need to get money to buy this, and it's just going through the motions, bump, just stop, and it's a rule for life as well, I guess, isn't it? Just stop and pay attention to everything that's going around you, have a look at everything, because there's a load happening, and you don't want to miss it. Anyway, all that being said, that's kind of, it's going to be a little bit different. No, let's just say that. I mean, obviously looking at the time already, it'll kind of take us through the day a little bit more sensibly, I think, at ×3. I always found ×5 a little bit too fast, and I like the fact we've got extra options. ×2 might even be a little bit, it depends how I want to go down the route. Someone did ask me actually yesterday, with the new seasonal system, whether you've got seasonal growth on or off, what's the best amount of days per month to have it set on? My answer to that would be, it all depends on what you're doing, and it might mean changing it, or it'll be a case of having a go, having a go, and then asking yourself, am I getting all the jobs done that I want to in a day, or in a month, or whatever it might be. So if you've got a load of jobs you want to get done in a day or a month, and you're not getting them done, increase the amount of days you've got in a month. Yes, I mean month, not day. Then increase the amount of days in a month. Because it could be that you're not getting everything done you want to do, and you're thinking to yourself, the month's just going too quickly, I wanted to get this done, then increase the amount of days. And because it doesn't jump up in increments of 3 or 6, or you can do it a day increase each time, then you can tailor it however you want. If you're finding that you're getting all of your jobs done and you've got 3 or 4 days in each month left to do nothing, then drop it down a bit. It gives you that flexibility, I think, to do that if you want to. So there's no kind of right or wrong with it. It's the same with all of it, with the seasons on FS19, it was always kind of, it should be set on ×5 and it should be this and it should be that. You should be running, if we're going to do it properly, it should be done on 6 day months, or, you know, why? Do whatever you want. Maybe that was the preferred way, maybe that was the intended way. But you can do it any way you want, of course you can. Oop, after that. So, yeah, I mean, it's your choice, isn't it? But again, I think I'm at that point where I've kind of rolled back a little bit, like I was when I did 6 Ashes. That the engine labouring. If you don't think the sounds are different, I yesterday dropped back onto FS19 because I'm desperately trying to get my Italia demo Let's Play finished. I've got 1 episode to do. Just finished an episode. It's taken ages. And I jumped into one of the tractors and started up, and I was like, oh, blimey! It just sounded really tinny and a bit, I don't know, it just didn't sound right. And that was, to me, straight away that indication of, wow, yeah, I mean, it is so different on here. Sidetracked again. But yeah, just, you know, rather than that kind of, right, I need to get the biggest plough I can. If I'm going to plough, I need to get it done as quickly as possible. It's now I'm back to that kind of, you know what, I'm going to take it all in. I'm going to pay attention. You know, just that left-hand side of the tractor now just dipped into the furrows a little bit. And all of it, wow. So I started off by talking about advent calendars, didn't I? Have you done today's advent calendar? And thinking about that, I haven't done mine. And here's the thing, what generation did you grow up in? Because Silly G, you know, Silly G. And when she was at school, not obviously at college or university, but when she was at school, one of the kids in our class, they did like advent calendars for each other kind of thing. And she was given a paper, like card advent calendar, one with pictures, you know. And my kids were like, oh, what is that kind of thing? I was like, that's, growing up, that's all we had, you know, just noticed, look. Spoiler. I should have a little beacon that flashes, shouldn't I? In the corner of the screen every time we see one. I'm going to talk about that in a moment as well. Not that one specifically, but yes, I'm like, what is that? And I said, well, that's an advent calendar. That's what we had growing up. When I was a kid, I didn't have chocolate advent calendars. We had a paper advent calendar. Had a picture on the front, and then you opened up each picture on it, and you'd have another little picture inside, and sometimes there'd be a little quote or a saying or a, you know, whatever it might be on the inside. Not necessarily with religious connotations or anything like that. It was just, you know, sometimes festive, traditional. You know, but it was just, that's the way it was. Then we kind of moved into this era of chocolate ones, you know, and it's something that my kids grew up with. And you know, we, on the back of our door to the living room, we've got little hooks, and every year everyone's advent calendars go on there. And when the kids were little, you know, when I was getting ready for school in the mornings, bearing in mind I've got 5 kids, so the 5 kids were all kind of flitting around the house and getting ready, and everyone would then come down, do their advent calendar, and off we'd go to school kind of thing. It was a real kind of family thing, family tradition. And that's lovely. Now we've moved into this very strange realm of advent calendars that offer literally anything. Last year, MrSealyp got me one that was phenomenal. Well, the year before she got me one that was phenomenal. It was a Lego one. It was Lego Star Wars. So every day when you opened it up, it had a different Lego figure, and there was some limited edition figures in there, and there was some models to make and that kind of thing. And it was really cool. It was, you know, really quite clever. Last year, she got me one from the Brewdog Brewery. And it was massive, and it weighed a ton. But every day there was a different beer. When you open it up, there was a different beer in there. That was amazing. And you can get anything now. This year, MrSealyp got herself one, and it's makeup. So every day you open it, there's a different makeup in there from a particular brand, company. You know. And you think, how has it evolved to that? That's crazy. I mean, that's adult advent calendars, isn't it? And that's come so far away from a paper sort of one with inspirational quotes or things on it. Oh, the world's gone mad. So I don't know. Just sort of talk about it. But weirdly, well, not weirdly necessarily, but way back when myself and MrSealyp were dating, courting, depends how old you are, courting, it's like the 1920s or something, when we were first sort of going out and dating, she made me one, and it was before you could get those types of advent calendars, and she made me an advent calendar, and it was a tower, a tall tower, and had all these drawers. Now it didn't come with anything in it, you bought that, then you had to fill it, so you could buy things that you thought the person would like, or and she spent I don't know how long getting all these different things together, so every day when I opened a drawer there was something else in it, key rings and pencil erasers and chocolates, and it's just an array of stuff, it's amazing, absolutely amazing. So that was way before. Just think if she'd have, I suppose the idea was there because obviously you could buy the tower and you can make them yourself, but the concept of buying one already packed full of stuff wasn't really a thing then. So yeah, I thought I'd talk about that too while we're doing this. We're not going to make our fortune, let's be honest. Over these next, like I say, these next few days, my aim at the moment is to either get a plot. Actually, I might message. I'm just going to speak to Chris or Angie today and ask about using a little bit of the land, because one of the things I think I could do straight away, I was looking at tractors. I thought I'm going to get myself a tractor, because there aren't many mods out yet. So there's not much available in the local catalogue. There's one very small tractor which is 9,500 with a little Zator, and it's lovely and I love the sound of it, and I would buy it in a heartbeat just to say, you know what, I've got my first tractor here on ELMCREEK. It's only 25 horsepower and there's not much equipment I can use with it, so I couldn't even go off and do contracting work. It would just be to say, I've got a tractor, look. I think what I'm going to do is run a strip around this way. I know it should just be up and down, so I know if you're a die-hard realist you're going to be fuming, but we're going to run around the side here and then I'll go up and down again, just to give myself a bit more runoff. It's going to take a while, as you can see. I'm only part way through, so I'll skip a little bit, and then I'll probably I might go and grab one of the sowing jobs as we get a little bit lighter. I'm going to have to pay for the seed, but we should get paid a little bit more for the contract itself, and we'll go and we'll sow a field. And again, it gets, it's a great way to get into, I know people say about cheating money in if you want to play the game and you want to use whatever equipment you want, that kind of thing. It's a good way to get into trying out different things, different methods, different bits of equipment, because the contracts, and I have noticed the contracts on here, that's what I was going to say as well, the contracts on FS22 do seem to give you a lot of equipment you never really got. I know when I was doing, because I was going to do a video on the contracting system and the fact it wasn't quite working properly yet, and I picked up a baling contract and it gave me a Krona Big M450. I don't ever recall on FS19 ever doing a baling contract where it gave you that as a mower, ever, because that you can mow and windrow at the same time. You always used to get given a mower and a windrower, and so you have to do all the different steps. So I was quite surprised by that. But it is, so for getting to use all different tractors and bits of equipment, and it's a great way to kind of have a go. You're not going to make your fortune necessarily, but it's a good way to get started. When you think I arrived yesterday with nothing, and yes, it took me the entire day, but I've now got 36 grand. Now, there was some argument, I say argument, it wasn't an argument, there was some question of, I know a lot of people refer to Dagwin. Dagwin is the master of survival Let's Plays and that kind of thing. He does tailor his very specifically, and he does adjust things and that kind of thing, because being on PC you can adjust all sorts of stuff in XML codes and that kind of thing. I can't do that, I don't do that. I would know how to do that. Being a console Luddite, I don't know how to do that. And it was said that I should have been on hard mode as well. Yeah, potentially, but like I said yesterday, you don't get very far. There's a fine line between a kind of ultra realistic survival Let's Play and progress. People want to see some progress as well. Watching 10 episodes of the person doing the same thing over and over again and not really getting anywhere. I'm not saying Dagwin does that, and I'm not having a pop at it, I'm just saying, but that's just how I feel about it. So anyway, I'm that kind of yesterday. Broke the first rule. What's the first rule? If you know, you'll know. Yeah, I'm going to try and keep about 30-35 minutes. I'm going to do 43 in the end. So yeah, nowhere close. And I'm pretty sure at the moment I'm up to about 20-25 minutes. So that means that the whole rest of this episode's got to be 10 minutes of me doing something else. So, but on the subject of contract work, have you come across or have you noticed the thing is there's so much going on, and there's things that all of a sudden I'm thinking, oh, hang on a minute, this is missing, or hang on a minute, that's different, or hang on, stuff that wasn't clear and the obvious straight off the bat. There's all the obvious things you kind of go for straight away. But as far as contract work goes, there's no transport jobs. Has anyone come across a transport job? I haven't. I've done a few contracts here and there. I've been in a few of the different menus fairly regularly. I haven't come across one. When you go back to FS15, the mission system was just transport jobs. You would deliver pallets from here to there and this to that, and that was the mission system. That was before we started getting the contract work on 17, wasn't it? And then obviously which that then evolved. But I haven't seen one. So just wondered if anyone else had. I'm going to finish off ploughing this and then we'll go back to the store. Let's grab a bit of equipment and we'll do some sowing, I think. Yeah, I don't know if I'd set it on ×5. I don't know what to do. I mean, it's going to take me a while to finish this up anyway. So I'll see you in a bit when I'm going to be about $1,000 richer. And I'm doing this myself. I'm wondering whether I will get to a point where I've got enough money in the bank that I will then get a bit more blasé about hiring workers. Once a lot of these fields are done and a lot of the harvest stuff is done, if it clicks over, that's when you'll start getting a lot of the fertiliser jobs coming up. Because if I'm planting fields, ploughing fields, cultivating fields, they're going to need fertilising. That's where the money's going to be. Because with the various different bits of equipment available, that's going to be a quick job to do. Yes, you've got to pay for the fertiliser, but normally the payments are quite good. So that's where we could make a bit more money, which I'm kind of hoping we're going to get. But we'll see as each day goes. We'll chug along and we'll I think that's kind of what like I say, I know I've said it already, but that was kind of what I was going for. Was that, it's a day in the life, not even a full day, but, kind of like a vlog every day of, what's happening at the farm, where have I got to, what am I doing, how much money have we got, and where can we get to in that month. Is it possible to make any headway at all? With the game being new and things being different, without cheating money in, without skipping through loads and loads of days to get through to the next phase, is it possible to make any headway like this? I mean, I've made headway already. Like I said, if someone said you could earn 36 grand in a day, you wouldn't say, oh no, actually I think I'll stay in bed today. We are job done at 20 to 10. Again, I'm still in that FS19 frame of mind. I was looking at, there's sowing contracts available. I can kind of prepare. I can because I can take on 3. Actually, you should really. Yeah, because I can actually do 3 contracts, it means I can get the next one ready to move on. Because there was always that thing of, especially depending on time on FS19, that you see a contract and think, oh, that's popped up, that's fantastic. By the time you finished the contract you were on, it disappeared. So there was that kind of, at least this one, you can kind of stack them, You can rack them up and you can get ready. I'm such a muppet as well. I forgot to say, as we said about the contracts yesterday, if we go down to our page here, I've got 52,000 litres of potatoes. So from the potato harvest, I've fully loaded the train with as much as it would take of potatoes. I think it was 300,000 litres, and sent it off to Goldcrest Valley. It took it and said contract complete. So I've got 52,000 litres of potatoes there, which actually isn't too bad. I could just sell it, couldn't I? I haven't got a trailer. But once I get a trailer, I could sell it. because that'll be some extra money. Of course it will. At what, 406th there at Johnson's Farmers Market. It's not a bad price, but like I say, I haven't got a trailer at the moment, so we'll keep an eye on those prices. But what was more annoying was the canola, because the canola harvest I did, I had 52,000. Actually, while I'm in there, I need to, no, that one. I need some seed. It's going to cost me. I'll get one. I don't know how much we're going to need. We'll get one, and then if we need to come back and get another one, we'll get another one. Yeah, again, that had to go on the train, which I've already said. So I put it on the train. Oh, that's worrying that there's a seed tank at the front, or is it because the one in the back doesn't have a seed tank potentially? And it went off, and the problem with doing that, and I'm sure it did it on ELMCREEK when it was the Alpine DLC, that unlike normally when you do a harvest contract, you can sell it at the sell point, wherever the sell point is. Does that fold up? It does. And until it says contract complete, and then if you've got anything left, that's yours. You can either sell it and make the money, or you can store it and use it for other things, which is absolutely fantastic. But it went off to Goldcrest Valley, and it said contract complete, and I didn't get paid anything for the excess. I don't know if there was any excess. I assume there must have been if it completed the contract. So it's a bit dodgy when you get the ones that say Goldcrest Valley, that you can't do anything about that. This is a nice rig. Oh, am I putting in barley, aren't I? I need to do that and that. I'm going to double check. I'm going to keep double checking because you have to, don't you? Usually it comes up and says you're doing the wrong thing. Ploughing contract is complete, so we'll collect on that. That covers the cost of the seed I just bought and a little bit extra. Yeah, barley, field 25. I know what field 25 is. I've changed my jacket as well. I've got more of a kind of down jacket, not quite a puffer jacket. The old 1980s, 90s puffer jackets, it's not that. It's more the down, you know, they're really nice, warm. Because it's a bit nippy. It's December the 2nd. I really hope we get some snow, because I want to be able to get a snow plough out, and that's what I mean, going through this month, I thought it'd be quite cool. You'd see a big contrast if we get some snow, and then, you know, there's a few extra things we can do. And each day I want to chuck something else in, you know. I want to get to that point where we can start getting our own vehicles, or we get our own plot of land, or, you know, I just think that'd be nice. Field 25 is over the bridge. I think it's over the bridge. That dark one over there. I was also hoping we'd get some stone picking ones. Has anyone come across any stone picking contracts yet? Rock picking, I thought that would be brilliant. We'll get onto a field and do some rock picking. Just show off some gear, you know. And it's surprising, when you talk as much as I do, how quickly you can eat into 35-40 minutes. And I think we're kind of not for whoa. That was amazing. Did he just flash his lights at me? Did he just turn them on? That can't be a coincidence. That idiot in the John Deere's pulling across in front of me. Sorry, old chap. This is it, isn't it? I'm going to need more seed. Am I going to make much money on this? Not a huge amount, but it doesn't matter. It's still money. The money's going up, not going down. Which, like I say, yesterday didn't look good. Oh, that was the other thing while I'm doing this. Probably not a bad idea to mention it. We're going to turn that on. Drop that down. And let's go. Ridge markers. There's a lot of stones in this field, and it does say it can do damage to your... Is this tractor not equipped to deal with this bit of kit? Because we're going very slowly. Maybe it's supposed to go at this speed. Yeah, ridge markers. If you're sowing a field, and be careful, if you've gone along, and in this case, because it's so difficult to get your head around, because again, it's vague instructions given, in that it says that there are rollers that will push small stones back into the ground, because if you don't, it can damage your equipment. So when I did my kind of guide to groundworks and that kind of thing, I cultivated or ploughed, and then with the cultivating, stones had come up with various different things. So I rolled them back into the ground, because when I start doing my seeding or planting, I don't want to damage the seeder or planter because there are stones there. But then a lot of people have then gone on to say, well no, what you're supposed to do is sow first and then roll them back in, because you should roll the ground after seeding, and that gives you a really good seed bed, and that's how you get the bonus. But then that means you're going to constantly damage your seeder if there's stones. I couldn't get my head around it. It's the wrong way around, isn't it? I know, yeah, maybe you should roll afterwards, but does that mean you need to roll the ground to get the stones in, seed, then roll again? Yeah, potentially double roll, maybe. But anyway, so that being said, if you've cultivated and if you've pushed the stones in and you've rolled your ground, if, like I'm doing now, you decide, actually I'm going to use my ridge markers, which are... there we go, ridge marker left, ridge marker right, or back up. If you use your ridge markers, they drag stones back up, because the ridge marker seems to be acting like a plough. So you spent all that time doing all that work, and you think, I'll use the ridge markers, get myself a line, do it a bit more realistically, and it brings stones back up, because it's technically ploughing. So just be wary of that as well. It happens. I'll put a light on the front. Yeah, I really was hoping for some stone picking contracts. Maybe they're just not programmed in. Maybe you just don't get them. With all the various different, there's cultivation and stuff, but I thought there might be a bit more. We'll see. It might be something that develops. I've had lots of questions about FS22 and the problems and issues, and as far as I'm aware, Giants are aware of probably most things now, because a lot of people have been reporting bugs into the forum and stuff like that. The question is, and which ones they're going to address, when and how quickly, and it's difficult because they all have hundreds probably to be looking at, and they're going to have to decide what the priority is, what needs to be done first, and also when they start doing those changes and preparing an update. I mean, patch or update. I know there's last time I said a patch, I then got in trouble because it wasn't a patch, apparently it was an update. When I said update, it wasn't an update, it was a patch. You can't win, it doesn't matter. Patch/update. That when they start changing things, like I said before, I think when I did my stream, that can cause problems with other systems and things within the game itself. So one thing can lead to fixing another thing, can lead to fixing, there's a whole knock-on effect. So I'm not too sure really. So, I do love that. It looks great, doesn't it? Yeah, we have. So we have yesterday cultivated, and we did some potato harvesting, which obviously you saw at the start of this episode. We've now done some ploughing. We're doing some sowing. Getting a bit of wheel slip there. That's because on the front of this seeder, it's got a power harrow. Can you see that? Power harrow going in the front of that? It's a lot of power requirement on this. We haven't quite used half of it, about 3/4 of our seed, and we haven't even done one part of 3/4. We've used 1/4 of our seed, we've got 3/4 left, and we've done one pass around the field. I'm not sure I'm going to make much money on this one either. Never mind, it is what it is. Before I finish, and like I said, this is just quick dips in every day. It's supposed to be half hour. This is going to be 40 minutes plus. I know it is. I want to say a massive thank you to James, John, Sergio, Peter, Barry, David, Jeffrey, Tony, Greg, Henry, Dominic, Mark and Jeremy. Thank you very much for your generosity and your kindness and your support of me and the channel, and by dint, the family. It's very kind of you. And the same the other day for everyone that was on the chat, all the super chats, all the everything. Just viewing. I know people say, "Oh, that's not fair. I can't donate." I'm not expecting anyone to. Just watching the videos is enough. Honestly, you don't have to. But it doesn't hurt to give a shout out. That's how all this YouTubing malarkey works. Apparently, that's what you're supposed to do. So that's where I'm going to leave it. I will see you tomorrow for the third day of Advent, of our advent calendar opening. Let's see what joys we can unleash tomorrow. Hopefully some different equipment, if I get some other things pop up, because unfortunately if it's just ploughing, sowing, harvesting and cultivating, we'll have done a lot of those already. But maybe if there's harvesting we can get some different equipment, harvest some different things. I know there was one for cotton. It wasn't paying very much though, which was a bit weird. If you borrowed the equipment it was next to nothing, so I'm assuming it was a fairly small field, but we could have a crack at something like that. We'll try something different each day, and maybe tomorrow it's going to be me buying some stuff. But if Angie and Chris are okay with me using a little bit of the land, maybe tomorrow, maybe the 3rd of December will be where we get something for ourselves. We'll see. Cryptic as ever. And if you're watching this today, Thursday the 2nd of December, there's 15% off all MrSealyp merch on the website. There is information in the description for this video. But it's all day today, the 2nd, Thursday the 2nd, and it finishes at midnight tonight, the 15% off. So if you wanted to pick up some MrSealyp merch and you want to get 15% off, today's the day to do it. I thought I'd throw that in there too. So I will see you tomorrow for more fun and hilarity. Well, maybe not hilarity, but hopefully more fun on the farm. I'll see you then. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have, please give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.